Hey guys, today I'm going to be making just a basic tart crust recipe, and this is for any kind of crust, any kind of tart crust you want to make. You can use this for the recipe. What you need is a cheat sheet over here. You need 1.5 cups of flour. You need 1 stick and 3 tablespoons of butter, and they're chopped up and they've been sent out just a little while, but you don't want them super soft because you want to be able to mix them with the flour. You need 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 1 egg, and 2 tablespoons of cold water. And you'll also need, of course, the tart pan, and the removable bottom tart pans are the way to go. You'll need just a fork to poke holes in the bottom. Baking beans if you have them, or pie weights, or you can use beans if you want and put those on, like brown beans or whatever. Those are fine too. And you'll also need a little bit of flour for dusting, and a rolling pin works really well too. So what I need to do first is get your flour and basically throw in your butter. Make sure your fingers are clean because we're going to be using our hands. You could probably use I've seen people do this in like a food processor. I've never done it that way. I've just always used my fingers, but you could use a food processor. What I usually do is kind of toss it in there a little bit until it kind of gets coated, and then you're going to start working your hands out because it will start, it uses all those squeezy grip muscles in your hand, and you want to just smash the flour into the butter. And once you get done smashing it all into the butter, you don't want any hunks of butter left. You want it to be kind of like a coarse meal, like a grainy flour. So I'm going to keep doing this until it's all mixed up, and then I'll be back because this will take me a little while. Okay, you can see where it kind of clumps up, gets a little grainy, and most of the butter is pretty much flattened out. I may have a few hunks like that one here and there, but for the most part it's like that. It probably took all of 5 minutes to do, so it's not like it takes a super long time. The only thing I recommend is get a little bit bigger bowl next time, because a little bit bigger bowl would help you be able to kind of spread out a little bit. So now what you want to do is take your powdered sugar, and try to get as much of this on my fingers as possible. And take your powdered sugar and just basically you're going to mix it in. Basically we're just going to add the egg and the water, and we're basically going to mix it until it forms a dough. All right, this is mixed up pretty good, and it's a little soft where the butter's gotten warmed up. So I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for like 5 or 10, 15 minutes, and just till it firms up a little bit, and then I'll be ready to roll it out. All right, just left it in the fridge for a little bit, and you can see it's already not as sticky as it was. So I've thrown a little flour on my countertop. I took the bottom out of the tart pan because I want to use this for like measurement. It should be, a couple inches on each side bigger because you got to go up the sides. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to take this out. Throwing some flour on my hand and on this dough ball. It's still a little wet, but I'm thinking it'll come together. What you want to roll it out to, it's pretty much as flat as, as even as you can get it. And you want it to be, like I said, about 14 inches around. That's probably good right there. So, lay that in there. And I learned a different trick. You fold it up in like a triangle, put your point right in the center, and then you unfold it. It works pretty good, as long as it doesn't stick. And it didn't, so it was good. So I'm not pressing like mashing it. I'm just kind of tucking, really, more than anything. And that actually worked out perfect because it's not really, I'm not gonna have to deal with a lot of excess. So take your rolling pin and you roll it right on the top, and it cuts it for you. Cool trick. Thank you, Martha Stewart. Okay, so there's your tart crust. So what you want to do is take a fork and just poke some holes in the bottom. That keeps from getting these air bubbles rising up. And I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes, just like it is. And just let it cool off. And before you come back in 30 minutes, have your oven preheated to 375. Okay, this has been in the refrigerator for 30 minutes, so it's good and firm now. It's not soft anymore. So you need a piece of parchment paper. I always go overboard on the parchment paper, but you basically want to cover the inside. Your oven should be preheated to 375, and you're going to take your pie weights, baking beans, whatever you want to call them, and you're going to dump them. This is actually 2 boxes of pie weights. That's how many. Because we bought one and it wasn't enough to fill it up all the way, so we ended up buying another one. So just make sure that they're kind of laying in the sides. I always make sure they're right up to the edges. And you're going to bake this at 375 for 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back, take the pie weights out, which I'll show, but I just want to go over the steps anyway. Take these out and then bake for another 5 minutes just to kind of brown it up a little bit. So I'll be back. Okay, it's been in 20 minutes, so now all I'm going to do is take this parchment paper and I'm going to dump these little beans out, hopefully. I'm always afraid I'm going to drop them all over the floor. Wouldn't that be funny? So those are just, let them sit and cool off because they're very hot. So this is going to go back in the oven for 5 more minutes just to brown it up a little bit, and then it's ready to put whatever you want to put into it. So I'll show you a picture of it when it comes out, and then that'll be it.